So there's a camera I've been wanting to test for quite some time, ever since it came out, but I haven't found a way to get my hands on one. And luckily, the great people over at Fujifilm sent me this guy to mess around with. This is the GFX 100 RF, and it is beautiful. So just so you guys know, I'm not being paid in any way to talk about this camera, or there's no exchange going on in the background. Simply put, Fujifilm just sent this to me for a few weeks to put it through its paces and make a video about this camera. You can trust that all of the opinions and everything that I say in this video are my own, and Fujifilm does not get to see this video before it goes live. I think it's important to disclose this, and I'm working on doing this in all of my future videos. Now, typically when you get a camera like this to review, you only have a certain amount of time. So I'm trying to make the most of this by going to as many places as I possibly can. And originally I just had one video sort of slated for this camera. And that was obviously a review of using it, a review of taking it into real world scenarios, and just sharing my thoughts and opinions on this really unique camera. But kind of what happened was this. I originally was going to go to Santa Barbara to shoot some sunset photos with my buddy Jordan, who's been helping out a lot here on the channel. And we were chatting and trying to figure out where we wanted to go. And ultimately we decided to pivot entirely and head over to Yosemite National Park to check out some fall colors. Now, originally I had thought that we already had missed the window for some beautiful fall foliage. Typically in this area, it's usually a bit earlier in October, but I was pleasantly surprised upon just a few quick Google searches to learn that peak fall color was happening right at that moment. Yosemite is just an incredible place, and it's not a place I get to go to very often, so I was really excited at the idea of heading out there and trying to shoot some landscape stuff with this camera. And over the next 2 days, we did just that. We did a quick overnight in the national park, camping at a nearby campsite. We shot sunrise, we shot sunset, we shot some beautiful fall colors, and the entire time I was using this camera. Now I want to let some of the photos and the beautiful footage that Jordan captured do some of the talking in this video, but I will share a few of my first impressions after this footage is done. So sit back, relax, maybe pour yourself a cup of coffee, and enjoy some of the beautiful footage and photos that we got in Yosemite. Well, hope you guys enjoyed all that. That footage was just stunning. Some of the most beautiful footage I think we've had here on the channel. Big shout out to Jordan. None of it was shot on the GFX. It was shot on the Blackmagic Pixis 12K, which is a brand new camera that Jordan just got. We're filming some larger projects here in the next couple months with that camera. I'm stepping into more of a director's role, which I'm really excited about. But man, that was some gorgeous footage. And the photos I'm really happy with as well. I have a few initial impressions that I would like to chat through before this video wraps up. I do have a much larger, more comprehensive video planned here in the next couple weeks where I will dive into a bit more of my experience with this camera, but I still have quite a bit of time to mess around with this. So I want to give myself as much time as possible and as much shooting experiences to give you guys the best opinion that I can. So the GFX 100RF, what do I think so far? It's a really intriguing camera. I would say this is one of the more unique cameras that I probably have ever tested and never really shot around with. It is very reminiscent of some of the Leica Q series cameras mixed with Fujifilm's design and image quality. Honestly, the entire time that I was shooting it, I couldn't get over the idea that there is a medium format 100 megapixel sensor inside of this camera. I think when you consider the form factor and how heavy this camera is, it's pretty incredible how actually compact and lightweight the setup feels. You guys are probably wondering my thoughts on the lens so far, and I think that's going to be a big thing that I'll talk about in the next video. But I will say so far, I'm enjoying this lens a lot more than I would a traditional 28mm lens. I think this has to do with the fact that I'm really used to cropping on my other GFX cameras. So when you're shooting the crop modes on the 100RF, it feels right at home to me. And I don't really notice a massive difference in terms of image quality or lack thereof. The actual 35mm lens renders space and depth in a beautiful way. I love the way that this camera photographs landscapes, and I found myself gravitating towards some of those tighter focal lengths towards the end of the day. But the fact that I can get so many different images in different crops with just one lens is really freeing. I didn't have to bring any other kit along with me, just this and a couple batteries. It worked out really well. But I would say that my first initial thoughts and impressions of the 100RF so far are this. I think this camera is for a very specific audience, and I think those people know who they are. I'm not sure if that's me yet. I'm going to sort of test this more and see how it fits into my workflow. But fixed lens cameras traditionally in the past for me haven't always been my first choice, as I love to be able to switch lenses, and I do really enjoy shooting tighter focal lengths. I totally get why they would put in a wide lens and just be able to crop in on that. It makes perfect sense to me. But I'm still testing and seeing how this lens performs for me in my workflow. There's no denying that this is an absolutely gorgeous camera. I really do love the silver color, although if I were to pick one of these up, I'd probably choose black. Overall, I think the image quality speaks for itself. The GFX lineup of cameras is really well known for their image quality and color depth, and this camera is no different. The images look gorgeous. I'm able to crop them, manipulate them however I would like. Really happy so far with that. But that's all I got for now. I'm heading out to the desert tomorrow, and we're going to be shooting quite a bit more with this camera out there, and then I have a few other trips planned before I have to send it back. So expect a pretty comprehensive full review of the 100RF sometime in the coming weeks. Now, before this video wraps up, I did want to take a moment and thank today's sponsor, which is Squarespace, for sponsoring today's episode. Now, you guys know by now, Squarespace is a very long-time supporter of this YouTube channel and my creative endeavors as a photographer. Simply put, they're just the easiest way to make any sort of creative website, whether you're looking to display your work, create an e-commerce or gallery page, organize your work into different sections. They make all of this extremely easy without having to know any sort of coding or the hassles that typically come with that. If you guys want to check out Squarespace for yourself, there'll be a link down below in the description to receive 10% off your first website or domain purchase. Big thanks to Squarespace as always for sponsoring this video, and huge thanks to you guys for watching. If you have any questions about the 100RF, I'll do my best to get back to you, but these are my initial impressions so far. I have a lot more that I want to say in the coming weeks, but I felt like the footage and the photos from Yosemite were too beautiful to not include in their own separate video. Take care, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.